What's going on, everybody? This is Afro Think Tank. Today, I'm going to teach you something. You're going to learn. And I got to be careful, all right? Because my other YouTube channel got demonetized when I was talking about this group of people, right? But I'm going to talk about them anyway. You can't stop it, right? The truth must come out. Now, there's a certain group of people who's playing pretend right now, all right, in a certain place, real close to North Africa, right? And this place should be considered North Africa, but they gave it their own name, Ish. You know what I mean? And they're a little bit of Ish. They're not quite it, they're Ish. We're talking about some converts. We're talking about some northern converts who are playing pretend. And as they play pretend, they kill tens of thousands of people to keep up the pretend game they like to play. All right, but what we're going to do here is we're going to unequivocally, all right, answer the question. Because here's the thing. You can't be ethnic, or now how do I say this? Can you find Christianity in your DNA? I'm just asking for a friend. Can you find Islam in your DNA? I don't think you can. Is there a DNA strand with the Bible or Abrahamic religion in it that can prove that you once believed or you once were a group of people? I don't think so. But there's a lot of people who don't know this. Can't tell the difference between race, ethnicity, religion, all this. All of it's kind of muddied up, and it's meant to be muddied up. There's a certain place right next to Africa that should be considered North Africa where it's illegal to do your DNA, and it's illegal to reveal your DNA, because if that were to happen, the truth would be revealed unequivocally. But you see, there are some people who play and pretend, who want to prove their fantasies true. And when they have done this, they have been, they have been disappointed to find out, you know? And here's the thing. There's this thing called history, right? And history will teach you that there was a place in the north, a kingdom in the north, a European north, where a certain individual decided to convert to a certain way of thinking, right? For political and social reasons. The way many groups of people converted to certain religions for political and social reasons. And they have so far taken advantage of that to fabricate an entire story. And the rest of the world has to suffer because they want to play pretend, and they're willing to commit genocide in order to maintain their fantasy. But today, we're going to tell the truth, and I'm going to let them do it. All right? I'm going to let them do it. So you can't say I'm making anything up. I'm a historian. I love all history, and this is part of history. And in the age of information, it's time for all of us to know the truth. Now, I have physically been to these locations, and I also, like I said, am a historian with a degree to back it up, right? And as well as being there, and I have myself have been shocked to see the original inhabitants of this land. And I've been many places and been shocked at my young tender age of 17, 18, and 19 to see the original inhabitants of this land and talk to them. And there's seems to be a consistency between people who have left Africa and traveled through the southern portion of Eurasia. And they all seem to look very similar to myself and other people who come from the same place I come from. From Africa to that place next to Africa, to India, to Vietnam, to Cambodia, to Thailand, to the Polynesian Islands, to the Melanesian Islands, to the Japanese Islands, to Hawaii. There seems to be a consistent phenotypical look of the remnants of the diaspora, the first diaspora of the Africans who left a long time ago. And genetics have also proven that all of these people have origins in Africa. So it's not far-fetched to say that the original people of these land masses were in fact us, Therefore, even though I particularly hate the word, that starts with a J, because that word doesn't belong to us, and we should never identify ourselves as a J. But I digress, and they are not completely wrong, because the history of West Africa has its own history. And if you were to go to a West African tribe, which you should call nations, by the way, not just a little tribe, nations, they have their own origin stories. And it seems that the African tribes in West and Central Africa, origin stories seems to line up with these people in this place, right? That we keep misidentifying ourselves as these people whose name starts with a J-ish, okay? So even though the Hebrew Israelites are a little bit off base because they come off a perspective of the whitewashed Bible, they're not all the way wrong, and they are at least pointing in the right direction. And if anybody has the right to claim that area, it is in fact us, because it's more true than what these Anglo-Saxon and barbarian savages have created and manifested in their own mind and killed millions of people to reinforce. Anyway, without further ado, let's get to the information. Tell me what you think in the comment section. This is Afro Think Tank. Learn something, teach something. I'm out.
This feels like Christmas morning. I got a 23andMe Ancestry and Health kit. I think that I kind of want to start with the Ancestry side. And it says Ancestry composition. I'm 49.9% Ashkenazi Jewish. That's not a huge surprise to me at all, since my mom's side of the family is completely Jewish. My dad's side is not Jewish though. So let's go to there. Let's see what's going on. This is I feel really on the spot. Okay, so I'm 100% European, which again is not a huge surprise to me, but it's just funny seeing it like that. I'm 49% Ashkenazi Jew, totally. British and Irish and German and French, a little bit Scandinavian, Northeastern European. Yeah, it's not super exciting, but I kind of know all of that information. I didn't realize how much of my family was from Germany though, so that's interesting. So let's see if I can get more information on this. It's funny, I know where my relatives and stuff came from, but it's kind of fun to see it broken down like this. Yeah, totally not surprising having the British and Irish be pretty strong. The German is though, so I wonder who came from Germany. I wonder if it has to do with the Ashkenazi Jewish part of my family. No really Scandinavian, no Italian. Wow, okay. It's pretty vague. It doesn't give you which it makes sense, but there's nothing really random in there. There's a tiny bit of East Asian and Native American, the slightest. The first thing that they're telling me to do is do the late onset Alzheimer's disease. I do have some dementia in my family, so I wouldn't be super surprised if this was positive, but my heart's racing a little bit. I don't know. So I don't have the however you say that. So there's zero variants detected, which is, I guess, a positive thing. Cool. So Parkinson's disease. Let's open that guy up. I know that's a very, so I have 0 variants detected. So age-related macular degeneration, a variant detected, not likely at increased risk. I'm not totally sure what that totally means, but AMD, we're familiar with that condition, but we'll see. I'll do more research on this. Have a slightly increased risk of celiac disease, which I've actually been tested by, I've gotten blood work and stuff done for celiac disease. And I definitely, gluten is harder for me to digest, but yeah, interesting.
A religion cannot be native to any land. There are Ashkenazi Jews who are entirely European in their DNA. That's why you're not allowed to have a DNA test in Israel, because it will reveal that virtually none of them have any ancestral connection to the land. I love all religions, but you can't say I've now converted to Judaism and therefore I have a right to go to the land of Palestine and live in the house of someone whose ancestors have been living in it for thousands of years.
What is Judaism? Judaism is a religion. It's not a nation. It's not nationality. It's not a race. Judaism is a religion. Zionism is built up by non-believers. Theodor Herzl, he was the father of Zionism, and he was a non-believer. So, Jewish people, when God exiled us of the land, I come to the beginning of that. Mm-hmm. We believe that God promised the land for the Jewish people, but it was only under certain conditions. If we keep a high moral of life, if not, it's written in the Torah 36 times that we will be exiled of the land. When you look in the books of the prophets, especially Yirmiyahu, Ezekiel, Yeshayahu, you see that God warns the Jewish people to repent and to come back to God, and if not, you will be exiled. In the end of Yirmiyahu, you can see that God exiled the Jewish people. We didn't exile of the land because we was weak. When you look in the books of prophets, you see that Jewish people was very strong at this time. However, this was a punishment of God. Jewish people are believers in God. When God sent us in exile, we're staying in exile. He was warning us not to go out of exile before the coming of Messiah.
Is this a mainstream belief?
Yes. And he was warning us with 3 oaths. Now, going out of exile is a rebellion against the Almighty. It's simple. If God sent us in exile, we're going out, means rebellion against God. Believers in God cannot do such a thing. The Zionist people are atheists. So they say, how long we will stay in exile? Why? There's no reason for that. They don't believe that God exiled them. We have to organize ourselves. We have to take the land over.
Yes.
So it's very simple that you can understand that Zionism is built up on atheism, of mistrusting God, not trusting God. Judaism is built up of trusting in God. However, the Zionists are not believers, so they want to take the state. So you ask me, what's the difference between Jews and Zionists? Zionism is the total opposition from Judaism, diametrically opposed of Judaism. Judaism is believing in God, and Zionism is mistrusting God. Zionism is against all the religious, against God, against everything. They don't believe in God, that's all. So this is very, very in the root, what we are separate from Zionism. And this, even the Zionists doing the land in a free land, doubles and triples the crime when they're doing that on the head of other people, taking away the land of other people by killing them, by robbing away the land of them. This, of course, makes the crime double and triple. In the Torah, it's written in the 10 Commandments, don't kill, don't steal. So this is really the difference between Zionism and Judaism.
There's 16 to 17 million Jews around the whole world, everywhere. How many of them do you think are Zionists? How many of the global population of Jewry, which is 16 to 17 million people, how many of them do you think are supporters of Israel?
I answer you with a question. People say Jews answer always with questions. First thing, I ask another question. There is 15 to 18, I didn't remember the number what you said, Jewish people.
16 to 17 million.
16 to 17. How many of them are Jews? As I told you.
Oh, whoa, you've gone that way.
Yes.
So you are from the position that a Zionist is not actually a true Jew.
100%. That's what I told you before. I told you before, Judaism is a religion. How many of these people come keeping the religion? Just look at the facts. People looks like me. People what keeping Shabbos, eating kosher. You have only 1 to 2 million. That's all. Not more. All the rest are secular. That's what I told you before. Judaism is a religion. If you are secular, we don't count them as a Jew.
The Ashkenazi Jews who are white are converts to Judaism from Khazar. From Khazar is a region, is a Turkish nomad people who existed within the area of what is called, what's today's Ukraine or Asia. Now they converted to Judaism. They were merchants. Now my theory is, everybody's going to get upset, is because but it's before Christianity. I don't know why they converted, but they did convert, and they did move to Europe, and they lived for centuries in Europe and faced a lot of problems in Europe.
You know, I remember, and this is the highest point, the peak of my book. I remember going to the Tel Aviv library, university library, looking for books about the act of exile of the Jews from Palestine in 70 after Jesus Christ or 132 after Jesus Christ. I was sure, that the Jews were exiled from Palestine. A lot of you till now believe in it, no? Of course, because it is a Christian myth, not a Jewish one. In the 3rd century, the Christian try to explain that the Jews were expelled from Judea because, they were the murderers of the Son of God. The idea, a myth about the exile of the Jews from Judah, there is not even one historical book about it. You have to understand, in the Israel Declaration of the State in 47, it was written that we are expelled from Palestine. We suffer from the exile. The exile didn't happen.
My best historian, Shlomo Sand, an Israeli Jewish Zionist historian, where he lived today in what you call Israel, Tel Aviv. He's a teacher, active teacher today, a doctor teaching histories in Tel Aviv University or some university around there. What Mr. Sand talking about here? As you see here, the invention of Jewish people. Mr. Sand will prove to you that this, what you call the nation of Israel of today, have nothing to do with Judaism, have nothing to do with the history of the Torah, have nothing to do with the history of Jacob and the 12 tribe of Israel. It have nothing to do with the history of the region. These are converts who came from all over the world, 70 ethnicities with 90 languages, claim to be the Jewish. But what he say, as they stole Palestine and they hijacked Judaism, they stole our falafel and shawarmas and hummus. So this is another source and another proof from a Zionist, from a Jew, and from somebody who's from you. This is not a Palestinian, this is not an Arab, this is not a Muslim. So that's what we are here to do. As I shared yesterday with you, Benjamin Friedman's speech, 1961, and he's a Jew who converted to Judaism. Today we would love to share with you this book. You could go to YouTube and watch it. You could buy it. You could read it. And it will tell you these Khazarian Zionist converts who stole Palestine, invented Judaism in 1897 with few atheist Zionists from all over Khazar, Russia, Poland, Ukraine, are not the Jewish people. And you know what? As we all know, Judaism is minority all over the world. And in Jewish law, you cannot build the Jewish state right now. If you want to come and say, okay, we have history, we're going to build. Everybody knows, under the Jewish law, if there is going to be any Jewish state going to be built, it's have to build after the coming of the Messiah. Not the Messiah Jesus of the son of Mary, their own Messiah, because they don't believe in our Messiah. So here you go, guys. The Invention of Jewish People by Shlomo Sand. This is another source to discredit Mordechai, Khazar, and all these Zionists who tells you that Khazarian are debunked theory. No, here's the Khazarians, and here what they did. And this country was not a promise. What you call Israel today was not a promise by God. It was a promise by the Rothschild.